Your bank paid you $105 last year. They made $1,500 off your money in that same year. And the part that should genuinely make you angry, everything they did with your money to earn that $1,500, you could have done it yourself. Every single piece of it, and kept the full return. This isn't a conspiracy. This is just how banking works, and almost nobody explains it this clearly. Let me show you exactly what's happening through two real people making two very common mistakes. Sarah did everything right. She built a 6-month emergency fund, kept it in a big national bank, checked her balance every month, watched small interest deposits appear. It felt safe. It felt responsible. Her savings account pays 0.42% APY. On her $25,000, that's $105 a year, about $8.75 a month, less than a large pizza. Now, here's the question Sarah never asked. What was her bank doing with that $25,000 while it sat there? It wasn't sitting in a vault. The second Sarah made that deposit, the bank put it to work. Not for her, for them. Here's the breakdown. Banks take your deposit, pay you a fraction of a percent, and immediately lend that same money to someone else at a much higher rate. Credit cards right now average 22% APR. Auto loans sit around 7.8%. Personal loans around 12.5%. Mortgages near 7%. Every single one of those loans is partly funded by deposits like Sarah's. The difference between what they pay her and what they earn is called the net interest margin. For major U.S. banks right now, that margin sits around 3.5%. On Sarah's $25,000, that's roughly $770 the bank keeps, on top of the $105 they gave her. But here's the one that should really bother you. Banks take a portion of customer deposits and buy short-term U.S. Treasury bills. Right now, those are yielding around 4.2%. The bank earns 4.2%. They pay Sarah 0.42%. That's a 3.78% spread on an investment Sarah could have made herself, directly, no bank required. The bank is literally charging Sarah nearly 4% to be the middleman between her and the U.S. government. Then stack on overdraft fees, debit card interchange revenue, float income on pending transactions. Every layer is another profit stream built directly on Sarah's balance. Sarah's bank didn't protect her money. They rented it. They paid her $105 a year for the right to use $25,000 however they wanted. And she thanked them for it. Daniel saw through the scam. He moved his money to a high-yield savings account paying 4.75%. He did his research. He was earning over 10 times what Sarah earned. On $25,000, that's roughly $1,187 a year versus her $105. Daniel thought he'd won. He hadn't. Problem 1, that 4.75% might not be real. Many high-yield accounts advertise a headline rate that only applies to the first $500 or $1,000. After that, the rate quietly drops. Others run a promotional rate for 60 days, then roll it back. Daniel saw 4.75% on the landing page. His actual effective rate might be noticeably lower. Problem 2, the tax hit. Interest from any savings account is taxed as ordinary income, federal plus state plus local. If Daniel is in the 24% federal bracket with a 5% state rate, he's losing nearly 30 cents of every dollar of interest. His $1,187 becomes roughly $843 after tax. Problem 3, and this is the one that stings. Daniel's high-yield bank is doing the exact same thing Sarah's bank is doing. Buying treasury bills, lending money out, running the same profit machine. The only difference is they're returning a slightly bigger slice to Daniel. The bank is still in the middle. The bank is still taking its cut. Daniel thought the high-yield account was the finish line. It's just a better seat in the same machine. The question neither of them ever asked, if my bank is using my money to buy treasury bills at 4.2%,
Why don't I just buy the Treasury bills myself? You can, right now. Through a Treasury bill ETF like SGov, you buy it through any brokerage, Fidelity, Schwab, Robinhood, whatever you already use. Current yield sits between 3.9% and 4.3%. It pays out monthly. When you need cash, you sell it. Settlement takes 1 to 2 business days. Or skip the ETF entirely and go to treasurydirect.gov, the U.S. government's own website. No brokerage, no ETF, no expense ratio. You buy Treasury bills directly at auction and collect the full yield yourself. Here's the part that changes the math completely. Interest from U.S. Treasury securities is exempt from state and local income taxes by federal law. Daniel pays state tax on every dollar his high-yield account earns. A Treasury investor pays 0 state tax on that same income. In high-tax states like California or New York, that exemption alone can be worth more than the rate difference. Yes, FDIC insurance protects savings accounts to up to $250,000, but Treasury bills are issued by the same federal government that backs the FDIC. You're not taking on more risk, you're just cutting out the middleman entirely.
Sarah followed every rule she was taught. Daniel did his homework and upgraded his account. The bank profited off both of them, quietly, legally, every single day. The only thing separating them from someone who actually wins is one question. What is my bank doing with my money, and can I do it myself? You just answered it. Now, the next move is yours.